So with our lovely Miss Z, I wanted to warm up a little bit with some loose leash walking. Ready, cuteness? And then I know we were mentioning a little bit of going into those fronts and side or finish position. I also want to see if I can include a little bit of some play. So take it and drop it. She was just playing with the flirt pole. Ready? For a little bit. So remember, for holding equipment, it can be whatever makes sense to you guys. I tend to hold my leash on the opposite side of the dog. And then what I tend to do is feed the dog while they're on the same side of me. Same side of the treat hand. So this way, what I'm doing is I'm feeding the dog while they're by my leg and making that into a very fun, but also very reinforcing spot to be in. So as your pup is working a little bit with this loose leash walking, we could all of a sudden, again, see something coming up ahead. Of course, a piece fell out of her mouth. And then do a little bit with this little front behavior of bringing them into your body. So fronts, again, you could work a couple where you're bringing her into you and feed for that. And then again, gain her attention and continue on your walk for another moment. If again, when you're working a bit with these fronts and you would like to have the puppy be again on the same side of you on the left and be able to start walking again, I also like to get the puppy's attention, bring them to the side of my body. She's like, this has not been done yet before. So if she has a little bit of a harder time, I'm going to help her through it right there and feed for that. So if she hasn't done much with the finish or side position, don't worry. Typically, this can be really helpful for gaining your babe's attention. So let's say, again, we bring them to the front of our body. She's a little tired after doing her flirt pole. And then let's say she's right here, but we want to keep walking, and now she's in front of us. We could, again, lure the pup from in front of our body to the side of our leg. So I know she's going to be on the opposite side right now, but I'm going to lure her and then twirl her a little bit and get her to set up next to my leg again. Nice. So again, we're feeding for those lovely moments where she's by the leg. Nice. Ready? So again, we lure her in the beginning, get her to sort of do some nice little check-ins. Then throughout that walk, we feed a little bit here and there. Ready? So my leash stays nice and relaxed. So what I mean by that, there's no tension from her or from me on the gear. If, let's say, she pulls or she gets a little bit of head, as opposed to pulling back and then still walking in the same direction, you'd want to do those U-turns and then feed for the moment that she ends up back by your side again. Nice job. Good girl, Ms. Ziva. So again, here we are. Let's say she gets ahead. I might bring her into a little front. Nice. And I'm just going to feed for just being in front of me. And then we're going to, again, lure her. She's hoping that I toss the food. Ready, cuteness? And then see if I can loop her. She's a little bit of a longer lady. I'm going to try it actually on this side so you guys can see a little bit better. So I'm going to bring her again. Here's the front behavior in front of my body. I'm going to lure her and then see if I can bring her a little further. So if she's a bit of a longer woman, I might take one little foot back and then feed again for by the side. This doesn't have to be a sitting position instantly. Eventually, this might be where she comes to the side and does a little sit and does a little check-in, and then we continue on our walk again. Nice job. Beautiful. Oh my goodness, it fell out. Ready? Good job. I love how she like eats them, but not really. So they end up being in her little jowls and then they fall out as she walks around panting. You're a very cute lady. So I'm going to take her leash off just for a moment so we can practice a little bit maybe off her lead. You're a little slimy too. So that way she can practice maybe a little bit with some of these take it and drop it's. I want to see if she'll maybe go for one of my toys. So this is like a bumper toy. It's kind of, again, a material that is typically pretty resistant to some bites, which is great. And a lot of the pups like the feel. If she's just a little bit like, ew, that's somebody else's toy, no big deal. But sometimes getting a toy where you can play with the babe. So I like this one because it's got handles and you could engage with some take it and drop it's or grabbing and biting and holding and then releasing the item. So if she's a little bit unsure or she's a little bit warm from doing some play earlier, she might find that putting something in her mouth, which doesn't allow her to pant, a little bit of a silly idea when she's a bit hot. So I'm going to see if we can try. Maybe what I'll do is I'll grab the sheepskin one because I think she's more of a sheepskin lady. What do you think, cuteness? She's like, I really like the flirt pole. So this one, for example, a little bit of a smaller version compared to the flirt pole. But the benefit of having a toy on a little tug is that you can then play with your pup and then sometimes use it as an item for reinforcement as well. So if she thinks, oh my gosh, this one smells disgusting, it doesn't smell as nice as the flirt pole, You guys could also work with this a little bit at home too. So remember, not every time when you're looking to do something are the puppies going to always perform. Maybe they're feeling a little overwhelmed. Again, I'm not her typical handler. So even though I do like to have a good time with her, she, again, is more comfortable with her usual human family. So again, we're going to see if I can try a little bit with some play, but she might be more of the flirt pole girl. So if you are going to try a little bit with toys and motivation, I know I've got a couple videos with like Zeus and a few other puppies that are very toy driven no matter what the situation. So you may find that this might be something she can build into, just the way she builds into taking food a little bit more readily as she gets comfortable. So play, if it's not happening with this one, not the end of the world. You could also work a little bit with the flirt pole and still work that on-off switch. So let's say, for example, Mazine finds this one to be a little bit more exciting. I'm going to go again, are you ready? And then go get it. And now the toy comes alive. So she thinks that this one might be a little bit more fun than the other toy, which is fine. So I want to make sure she definitely has chances to catch the critter and be successful. She's like, oh yeah, bad boy, I gotcha. So if, let's say, she gets a little stuck, she's right now stepping on the lead, which is, or the flirt pole rope, so it makes it a little harder to make the toy wiggle if you're stepping on it. But for Ms. Z, you'll see that again, I keep the toy still low to the ground, so she's not jumping or lifting her whole body off the floor, because I don't want her to by accident land funny or not know where she's going and potentially, you know, crash into something. Nice job, cuteness. But the whole point, again, of this game is getting your puppy to sometimes build these natural doggy behaviors as an outlet when maybe, let's say, she might be nervous instead. What is it, Abba? Okay, I'll be right there. Ebba needs some assistance in just a second. So if our little lady is, let's say, having more fun with the flirt pole, maybe the flirt pole could be the toy that she prefers to go use in the side yard or when people are passing by. Nice job, cuteness. And you can start to build up that this toy could be something to do instead of the original, I'm overwhelmed, I'm nervous, and then the barking that might happen as well. So remember, we're not trying to suppress natural dog responses, but we're trying to show Miss Z that instead of, again, offering that, let's try it this way. Let's go into this zone instead. Because for a lot of the dogs, remember, normal dog behavior is what can be called problematic behavior as well, where there's the barking, there's the, you know, excessive jumping or digging or normal dog behaviors, but they become exaggerated sometimes because the dog doesn't know where to put that normal dog response. So we're going to be their helpers and help them pick better maybe choices in our weird human world so both they and our families can all be successful. Nice job, cuteness. But if, let's say, Ms. Z's getting a little tired, she can maybe take a little break from the flirt pole and we'll do a few other little skills as well. But she's doing such a good job. So definitely getting much more comfortable as the weeks have progressed. Oh, so tired. So we'll give her a little break, but she did so good.